Is 4 bins a faux pas? By James Poyner. Manningham and Nillumbik councils are 2 of 34 Victorian municipalities rallying to pressure the state government to rethink its rollout of the 4-bin system. As part of the Victorian 10-year Circular Economy Plan, all 79 local councils are mandated to have a curbside glass recycling service, the purple lidded bin, by July 1, 2027. To date, around half of councils have implemented the scheme. The cohort opposing the rollout has launched the Let's Be Clear on Glass campaign and is asking residents to complete a survey about whether they are for or against the purple lidded bin. Speaking on behalf of the councils, Manningham Mayor Jim Grievous said there is a better, cheaper and more effective way to recycle glass without adding new bins, more trucks and new costs for households.
We believe there's a better way, and we're urging the state government to pause the rollout and instead work with councils on a smarter, more cost-effective solution,
said Councillor Grievous. Independent economic modelling conducted in 2025 found that introducing a glass-only curbside service would cost a typical council about $4 million to set up. Households would then pay an average of $27 more every year to cover ongoing collection and processing costs.
This is a costly policy that will hit households year after year at a time when people are already under pressure,
said Councillor Grievous. A Manningham Council spokesperson says Council would like to see the container deposit scheme expanded to include wine and spirit bottles. They said this solution would provide similar environmental outcomes while shifting the costs to polluters rather than councils and their ratepayers. This approach is already in operation in other states. However, the state government's stated position is that Victoria's container deposit scheme is designed to target beverage containers that most commonly contribute to litter, as outlined in its consultation summary ahead of the container deposit scheme rollout in 2023.
The curbside reforms, which include the introduction of separate household collection of glass, will complement the scheme by making recycling at home better.
Second thoughts. As reported in the Dandenong Star, Greater Dandenong Council councillors are now questioning whether to proceed with the introduction of the glass recycling bin. The council endorsed the 4-bin stream in October 2025, so procurement work could begin for the commencement of the service in July 2027. However, at its April 2026 meeting, in light of the actions by the 34 council cohort, Councillor Rhonda Garrard used her time in councillors' questions to relay her concerns and query if council needed to rethink its position.
I understand that approximately 30 Victorian councils are opposing the implementation of the purple glass bin due to cost concerns, with an estimated $3.6 million cost to council and a projected $16 impact on individual rates, as well as concerns about duplication with the container deposit scheme, which has diverted around 70% of containers from landfill. There is also concern that residents cannot opt out of the bin. Will the City of Greater Dandenong join these councils in opposing this initiative?
The response from the relevant director indicated the decision was open to review if deemed necessary. Have your say. The biggest issue with all recycling processes is contamination. If the wrong thing is in the wrong bin, whole batches destined to be recycled can end up in a landfill. As our recyclables, paper, cardboard, plastics and glass, are all commingled, broken glass can get stuck in other materials, making it difficult or impossible to separate them for recycling. To reduce the instances of recyclables going to landfill due to contamination, having a separate bin for glass begins to make sense, but space, cost and road congestion are factors to consider. Visit manningham.vic.gov.au/news/let's-clear-glass-recycling or participate.nillumbik.vic.gov.au/projects/glass-bin to complete the survey. Let the diary know what you think is the best way to deal with our recyclables, especially glass. Email editor@warrandytediary.com.au.
This story was read by Rebecca Rose, James Poyner, Adrian Rice and Hazel Rice.